When Joe Rogan started hinting that powerful figures in entertainment were quietly aligning with political power to protect their own, plenty of names came up. But one name kept floating just under the surface: Jay-Z. That's where Jay-Z's former close friend DeHaven enters the picture. According to him, Jay didn't just rise through music and business. He survived by learning how to move between power structures early on. DeHaven claims Jay's inner circle wasn't just filled with executives and lawyers, but people who deeply understood the federal system. One of the key figures he points to is Desiree Perez. DeHaven suggests Jay aligned himself with people who knew how investigations, narratives, and outcomes really work.
Keep in mind, the chick had a plan too. Like, yo, we could do things. And I can guarantee you the conversation with Emery, even when Emery came home and seen, he came home and seen the same thing. Yo, you dealing with her?
Who's the chick?
Yes. Desiree.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
He came home and had to see it too. Say, yo, what is this? And I can tell you how that conversation probably went. Like, look, man, you don't need to worry about this. You don't need to worry about nothing else ever again. You over here with us now. But what if, yo, she a snitch? Man, that snitch shit, bro. Them people that's talking about that snitch shit, we ain't gonna be breathing in the same ear. That's what you worried about. Them that don't have nothing sitting home. Where you gonna be if you don't get on this side of town, get on this side? I can see that conversation.
And from his perspective, those same connections could extend protection to others in that circle. DeHaven describes how when people around Jay started facing serious pressure, Jay didn't fight the system. He adjusted to it. According to him, celebrity protection doesn't come from fans or money. It comes from relationships with people who hold real leverage. Politics, in his view, doesn't matter the way regular folks think it does. Left, right, Democrat, Republican, power works with power. That realization, DeHaven says, is what drives people crazy when they try to make sense of it all. What hurt him most came later. After DeHaven fought his own case and won, he came home expecting at least a conversation. Instead, he was met with silence. No explanation, no closure, just distance. To DeHaven, that silence said everything. He believes Jay couldn't afford loose ends once he reached a certain level. Old friends became risks, not relationships. So when people ask why Jay-Z seems untouched while others around him face consequences, DeHaven's answer is simple. Jay isn't hiding from the system. In his view, he learned how to move alongside it. That same pattern is what Dame Dash says ultimately ended their partnership. Dame points to one moment he couldn't get past, a decision that exposed a fundamental difference in values. He explained that Jay chose to work on a major project with R. Kelly, despite serious allegations already being widely known at the time. For Dame, that wasn't business. It was a wake-up call. He said that choice showed him everything he needed to know about where Jay drew his moral lines. Dame admitted it didn't cause an immediate blow-up, but it permanently changed how he saw their future. What shocked Dame even more was how long people continued to look the other way. He said accountability only seems to arrive after arrests or public exposure. Before that, people stay quiet, keep showing up, and keep doing business. According to Dame, that silence is the real pattern.
Bro, this is what I'm sitting here telling you. This is what will drive you insane. Trying to figure out what.
Right.
Is it just this?
Right.
Cause this is all I know. Cause if it ain't that, is that? Is it the snitch? Is it your informant friend? Did they come to you or did they get you? When did they get you?
Right.
Is that what you hiding? Is that what it is? Because this don't make no sense.
And it's why when consequences finally come, they feel sudden, even though the warning signs were always there. Dame Dash said what always bothered him was how people suddenly distance themselves only after someone gets exposed. Before that, they stay close, do business, and look the other way until it's no longer fashionable. To him, that wasn't integrity, that was convenience. He said it made him lose faith in people overall. Where was the humanity? Where were the morals? He felt like too many people knew exactly what was going on but stayed silent until the crowd finally spoke up. Dame admitted that's why he's often been pushed to the outside. He calls things out early before it's popular, and that makes people uncomfortable. He pointed out that he's clashed with powerful figures long before the public ever turned on them, and later, those concerns proved justified. To him, it's not
knowing that he had D'Elia. How much more of that? You know what I'm saying? What more would you need? So your supposed best friend, partner, does a project with someone that he knows your partner's girl when she was a child, and you still say that had nothing to do with me, I'm gonna still get money with her. You know, that one was a wake up call for real, for sure. And I don't think anyone that's human, if anyone could look the other way from that, they're a sucker. That a man should stop calling themselves a man if they can hang out with a dude that will work with someone that the person they love. And yeah, I was told by Aaliyah, do not shake, ruffle no feathers, because it's gonna bring more awareness to it, and she wanted to move on. So she said, yo, you could be around, but I wouldn't be around the projects, but that record they did together, you know, you could be in the video, actually be in the video, because I wasn't gonna go. She told me to go be in the video. She said, just don't be in no scenes or take no pictures with them. And I did that. I respected that.
Man, that must have been really, really hard for you. I can't even imagine how tough something like that would be.
Well, you know, it wasn't like I was crying about it, and it just made me look at someone that a different way. And I knew that there wasn't too much more of a future moving forward. You know, I just realized that again, our moral fabric was different.
prophecy. It's logic. Wrong behavior over a long enough timeline always leads to consequences. What shocks him isn't if it happens, but how long it takes. Dame also spoke about being careful with symbolism and influence, saying evil doesn't show itself clearly. It disguises itself as success, power, and admiration. That's why he says he moves carefully and doesn't blindly follow trends or systems he doesn't fully understand. All of this, he says, goes back to how he was raised. Harlem taught him that character matters more than money and that walking away can be just as powerful as winning. That mindset is why he eventually walked away from Jay-Z. Some believe Jay-Z is now carefully managing distance as attention tightens around Diddy and anyone connected to him. According to Jaguar Wright, that caution isn't accidental. Jaguar claims her perspective comes from first-hand experience working around Jay-Z's circle in the early 2000s. She says the behind-the-scenes environment didn't match the public image, and in her opinion, the difference between certain industry figures wasn't behavior, but timing. She alleges she carries lasting emotional and personal scars from that era, though none of those claims have been proven in court. Still, her statements
And after 30, it's like almost like the devil comes and says, I'm gonna give you 30 years to do what you want, but then it turns out bad. So I was surprised it took so long for something to happen, just based on what I was hearing. I was surprised it took so long for people. Like, it was crazy to me that the only time people say they're not f***ing with somebody is when they get busted. But if they know it, they still f***ing with them. They just don't f*** with them when it's not in style anymore. So that was more my thing. I was like, y'all know what this, when people were still f***ing with it. And I was just like, I felt sorry for humans overall, because it was like, where's the humanity? Where's the like personal respect for yourself and morals? You just do what everybody does, and it's still like that. So, like, again, with most of the people that are jammed up right now, people knew it. They just didn't say nothing until everybody else did. See, that's where I get somewhat ostracized, because I say things and call people out before it's fashionable. I call it out as soon as I see it. So you gotta remember, pause, I was beefing with the Weinstein. And damn near everybody else that I don't quit. It turns out that there was a reason for it that was justified. It's just everybody else was scared to say something.
Man, that's crazy, man.
When you're a futuristic thinker, you can see good things that are gonna happen, and you can see bad things that are gonna happen. It's just using logic. 1 + 1 = 2. You know, illegal stuff for a certain amount of time equals at some point you're gonna get jammed up. You know, it's just sometimes it bugs me out how long it be taking. But there's a lot of things that are going on in this world today that I'm like, I can't believe it hasn't. You know, when are these motherfuckers gonna get their skirt pulled? Pause. You know what I mean? Like, when are people gonna be able to see the real logic behind the evil that everyone worships? Is unconsciously worshiping someone that's evil devil worship? I think it is, whether you're conscious of it or not. The devil's never gonna tell you they're the devil. They're gonna come and make you think they're God, and then you're gonna worship them. That's why I'm really particular about the way I move on holidays, because I don't know really what the fucking holiday means.
Have fueled ongoing debate online. Jaguar also suggested Jay-Z is cautious because proximity matters when scrutiny increases. From there, she expanded the conversation to how young artists were discovered and guided through the industry, questioning whether proper safeguards were always in place. She raised concerns about how some artists were introduced to the business at very young ages and how decisions were made on their behalf. These claims remain allegations, but they continue to spark discussion about power, protection, and responsibility in the music industry. Jaguar questioned how a young artist could end up sitting in a...
Sean Carter is just as bad as the diddler. And I know that for a fact. I got the scars to prove it.
So there's been so many people on the internet trying to figure out where you are. They're watching you. They're doing all types of stuff trying to figure you out.
You want to know what a box cutter feels like going into your skin and ripping you? I can tell you how it feels. Y'all ain't seen yet. That Cassie, that's nothing.
So are you trying to say like Jay-Z put hands on you?
I'm saying Sean Carter remembers everything he did to me and he's got it on tape. Just like Diddy. And they're gonna be crazy. It's gonna be the women that give him in the end.
So you say that that
Jay-Z! And I think it's time for him to start speaking up about his very good friend.
A boardroom with powerful executives without clear family oversight, asking what parent would allow that kind of move without serious protections in place. She framed it as a question people were scared to ask, not a statement of guilt. She pointed out how rumors spread when timelines don't add up, saying when family members arrive late and money shows up fast, people start connecting dots whether fair or not. And once that talk starts, it never really stops. As for why Jay-Z would distance himself now, Jaguar says it's pure self-preservation. In her view, Jay-Z has always protected the brand first, not the fallout. When someone close starts sinking, you either go down with them or you step back quick. She didn't frame it as friendship or loyalty, but strategy. To her, Jay-Z isn't defending a person, he's defending the system they both benefited from. Because when one pillar cracks, everybody standing nearby gets inspected. But what really shocked...
What would it take for Jay-Z to go down like Diddy did?
I don't know. But I got an idea that Evan Rogers is gonna help me figure that out.
And who is Evan?
Evan was the producer who only seemed to work on teeny bopper projects, who discovered Rihanna at 3 a.m. in the morning in a hotel room on the island where she comes from, with no parental supervision. And then she was put on a private plane, a minor, from one country to another. without parental supervision. And she ended up in a boardroom with Mr. Carter without parental supervision. Y'all got young children. Would you just let your daughter leave and go to a whole other country with some money you don't know?
Absolutely not.
Doing talent shows at 3 a.m.
So you're saying that the rumors are true. There are rumors circulating that Rihanna was actually tracked here. Are you saying that
Starting to
that's...
sound that way, don't it? Because her daddy ain't show up till 24 hours later to pick up a $500,000 check for his daughter's.
People was Jaguar flipping the script on Diddy himself. She said she doesn't believe he's the mastermind folks make him out to be. Instead, she thinks he may be a pawn, someone used by forces with way more power and reach. She described how people around him talked about a strange atmosphere. Visitors weren't welcomed like guests, they were made to feel chosen. Like just being there was a privilege. That kind of energy messes with people's heads. Jaguar also pointed out how Diddy spoke about himself, not just as successful, but as something elevated. She says when someone starts seeing themselves above everyone else, it's a sign they're being fed an illusion. In her eyes, that illusion didn't come from nowhere. It was built, reinforced, and protected by a system that rewards ego, silence, and obedience. And once you're inside that system, breaking free isn't easy at all. Jaguar described how long exposure to power can distort someone's sense of self. She said when you perform, speak, and move a certain way for years, you can forget who you really are underneath it all. Watching it happen, she explained, felt like seeing someone confuse influence with divinity, fame with purpose. She recalled moments where he told people around him that they were talented, popular, and respected, but still beneath him. The message was clear. No matter how successful others were, they were never allowed to shine brighter in his presence. If they looked good, it was their job to make him look even better. To her, that mindset crossed a line. It wasn't confidence, it was hierarchy. A belief that others existed to elevate him, not alongside him. She said when someone starts placing themselves above everyone else in the room, it creates an unhealthy dynamic that spreads quickly. She argued the documentary leaned heavily on presenting one villain, pushing the idea that everything wrong in the industry could be pinned on
Jay-Z is doing this to Diddy now. Is it to keep his name out
the crab? He can't stand being himself not for 1 minute. That's why he likes assuming other people's lives. He wears them until he outgrows them, and then he finds another persona. He crawls into that. I wish somebody would just take him back to Marcy for a visit and drop him off. That would be an interesting homecoming and homegoing. He's the shame of Brooklyn.
on one man. The message felt convenient. Blame one figure, absolve the rest, and move on. That's where her frustration boiled over. If this behavior was truly unacceptable, she asked, why was it tolerated for so long? Why did so many people know yet say nothing until lawsuits and cameras appeared? Silence didn't come from ignorance, it came from benefit. She then pointed to symbolism that many overlooked. The repeated imagery, the hand signs, the pyramid visuals appearing not just on artists, but on commentators and influencers covering the story. To her, that wasn't coincidence. It suggested alignment, shared language, shared power. She questioned how narratives get shaped in the modern media era. What's framed as exposure can also function as distraction. If people only focus on scandal and celebrity drama, they miss the deeper systems operating underneath. That's when the idea of leverage enters the picture. According to Gene Deal, silence from powerful figures isn't random, it's strategic. These are people with brands, money, and reputations. Speaking up risks everything. He explained that when people are unaware they're being recorded, when substances lower their guard, when music and atmosphere remove inhibition, mistakes happen. Those moments become insurance. not for fun, but for control. Gene believes that's how leverage works, not through force, but through fear of exposure. And when that exists, loyalty doesn't matter. Silence does. Gene says people really tell on themselves all
by just being around him. But then again, when you listen to some of the way that he was referring to himself, like talking about he can only compare himself to the Son of God, and oh, you know, it's been so long. So I forgot how to get to my tone, and I've been rapping so long and listening to myself that I forgot how to be myself. And it's like watching, you know, I don't want y'all sitting here looking like watching Jesus walk on water, learning how to walk on water. Like,
no. Even the fact that he told everyone, y'all are rock stars, y'all are hot. I'm the level of hot. So he's saying, don't ever think you're bigger than me when I'm in the room. I'm like, just that thought process is.
No, just not even that. He was like, y'all hot and I'm lukewarm. Y'all not gonna, don't think I'm gonna sit here and let y'all be hot while I'm lukewarm. That's what he said. So basically what he was saying is y'all not doing enough to turn me up. Don't think that I'm gonna let y'all look good and y'all don't work harder at making me look good. But he's referring to himself as God? As the Son of God? Like, I don't know what people want to believe. I don't know why people want to believe what they believe. It's wild to me. It's just kind of crazy to me. I mean, they did what they needed to do in this documentary. The whole objective of this documentary was to blame it all on Diddy. The devil made me do it, blame it all on Diddy, and the rest of the industry is nothing like this. Like when Curtis Jackson sat there in his interview with Robin and sat there and said, you know, I did this because I don't want people thinking that the hip hop community is okay with this kind of behavior. You know, I don't want them thinking that, you know, we're just going to be silent while all of this is going on. Like, we're okay with this kind of behavior. And my thing is huh?
the time. You just gotta listen closely. He believes the hidden cameras were never random or for entertainment. When you reach that level of power, you don't get there without leverage. 1 favor, 2 secrets, maybe 3 advantages over somebody else. According to Gene, Diddy always wanted the upper hand. No matter the situation, no matter the relation.
You want to know the one thing that I'm finding also very interesting that nobody's paying attention to? The presence of that pyramid. You know, that the same thing that the Rock Nation likes to put up, the same hand symbol that you know, the sororities and the fraternities like to use. I'm not going to emulate it because you know exactly what it looks like.
Yep.
The pyramid sign that Diddy was wearing that around his neck. You want to know what I found funny? That there were a bunch of YouTubers that were at that courthouse that were wearing that same, it was a much smaller version, but that same symbol.
Yeah.
I think, and that's the part of this story that makes it possible for people, I think, to graze over the reality of all that's going on. You know, if you just look at it from the salacious celebrity stuff, from pop culture media, so-called this new media, and I'm really not liking that term, this new media, because what it really sounds like is the name of a gang. Like the media is media. Because I'm looking at the people that are falling under it, and they're all the same people that are involved with, you know, creating these propaganda campaigns. You know, but that's exactly what Diddy was saying at the beginning of the documentary. We need somebody that is proficient, you know, or fluent in being able to spin propaganda and narratives. We need social media. I guess that new media, is that what that is? Like it's if you only look at it from the face value aspect of it, you know, that's one thing. But if you look to the spiritual side of it, it's completely different. It unveils a much deeper agenda.
Relationship. He played people against each other like chess pieces. He did it with Biggie. He did it with Craig Mack, and later with others too. Divide, control, repeat. Gene explained that once you have leverage, you don't need to argue or threaten, you just wait. And hidden cameras? That's the ultimate advantage. If you know what people do behind closed doors, you own the room without saying a word. That's why those recordings matter so much. Whatever's on them doesn't just tell one story. It ties multiple people to the same spaces, the same system, the same source of control. That's what makes them dangerous. Gene also pointed out something people overlook. Not every gathering was hosted directly by Diddy himself. Some were allegedly organized by people close to him, even family members. That detail widens the circle.
All about the money. They saw what he did to Cassie. With the kicking, the punching. They saw what they did to Cassie. They know that nobody in America liked that. So now, these people are represented by a brand. Whether it's something about the music, clothing, movies, they're not gonna come out and speak on nothing that has anything to do with them, and they praying that they not on the tape doing crazy stuff, being oiled up in the whole 9 yards. They praying. So until the feds say, hey, yo, listen here. We got you on, hey buddy, we got you on this tape, and girl looked like she was pretty young. We're not gonna show it, but we need you to come and testify against Brother Love, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, you know, Sean Combs. That's when they're gonna start talking. And they're not gonna be talking in his favor. When the feds come to them and show them what they got on tape, because if he had 250 tapes all over, 250 cameras all over the house, somebody got caught stealing a cookie out the cookie jar. It could be your favorite pastor. It could be your favorite politician.
And shifts responsibility in a major way. Then there's the federal angle. Gene stressed that local agencies didn't start this. It was the Southern District of New York that stepped in. They moved based on information from civil lawsuits, not rumors. That matters. And here's where it gets political. While all this was unfolding, federal investigators were also digging into New York City leadership. At the same time, Diddy was being celebrated publicly. Keys to the city, praise, connections. Now look at what happened next. Resignations, officials stepping down, relationships quietly dissolving. Gene believes those dots aren't accidental. When power networks overlap, investigations ripple outward. That's why he keeps saying this is bigger than one man, bigger than one case, bigger than one documentary. If those recordings ever surface, the fallout won't stop at one name. So the real question is simple. If the tapes exist and if they connect politics, celebrities, and power, who else is about to be exposed? Drop your thoughts in the comments. This is Raporix. Stay sharp, stay questioning, and we'll catch you on the next one.